happiness and a better future. They want to build a good life for themselves and their families. But the truth is, many people never reach the life they dream about. It is not always because they lack talent or opportunity. Very often, the real reason is something much deeper: their attitude. The world we live in can be challenging and unpredictable. There are many things that can go wrong, but sometimes the biggest problems are not outside us. They are inside our minds. Negative attitudes can quietly destroy our chances of success without us even realizing it. These negative patterns of thinking are like diseases. They slowly weaken our motivation, confidence, and courage. If we are not careful, they can destroy all the good things we try to build in our lives. One of the most common attitude diseases is indifference. Indifference happens when people stop caring. They go through life without passion or energy. They stop trying their best and begin to drift through their days without purpose. Some people say things like, "I don't want to get too excited about anything," or "It's not really that important." They shrug their shoulders and move on. But drifting through life is dangerous. You cannot drift to the top of a mountain. You cannot drift into success. You cannot drift into a meaningful life. To achieve anything valuable, you must care deeply about what you are doing. You must give your full effort. When you put your heart into your work, you create opportunities. Even if the path is not perfect, your effort will open new doors. Some people believe they would work harder if they had a better job or better situation. They say, "If I had the right opportunity, then I would give it my best." But this is an illusion. The truth is that success usually comes to people who give their best effort wherever they are. When you pour your energy into what you are doing, you either create new opportunities or quickly discover a better direction for your life. Another attitude disease that harms many people is indecision. Indecision happens when someone cannot make up their mind. They become stuck between choices and afraid to move forward. They constantly worry about making the wrong decision. They might say, "What if I choose the wrong path?" Or "Maybe I should wait until I'm sure." But waiting forever is not the answer. Life requires decisions. Every choice carries some risk. If you try to avoid all risks, you will spend your life standing still. Imagine someone sitting on a fence, unable to decide which side to jump down from. They remain stuck, uncomfortable, and afraid. But after a while, the most important thing is simply to get off the fence. Even if the decision turns out to be wrong, it will still teach you something valuable. Experience gained from mistakes often leads to better choices in the future. Life becomes exciting when we make decisions, take action, and learn from the results. Another dangerous attitude disease is self-doubt. Self-doubt is when people constantly question their own abilities. They do not believe they are capable of success. They doubt their intelligence, their skills, and their potential. They may say things like, "I'm not good enough," or "People like me don't succeed like that." This kind of thinking can quietly destroy a person's future. When someone believes they cannot succeed, they often stop trying before they even begin. The cure for self-doubt is belief. Believing in yourself does not mean thinking you are perfect. It means understanding that you have the ability to grow, learn, and improve. Every successful person started somewhere. Many of them faced failure and rejection before they achieved their goals. Belief in your own worth is the beginning of progress. When you begin to believe that you are capable of building a better life, your actions begin to change. Another powerful attitude disease is worry. Worry is something that many people experience every day. They spend hours thinking about problems that might happen in the future. They imagine worst-case situations and allow fear to control their thoughts. But constant worry does not solve problems. Instead, it creates stress, damages health, and steals happiness. Worry can weaken the body and cloud the mind. It can create tension in relationships and make life feel overwhelming. Life will always have challenges. There will always be things we cannot control. But instead of worrying endlessly, it is better to focus on what we can actually do. Taking action is far more powerful than worrying. Another attitude disease that holds people back is overcaution. Being careful is important, but when people become too cautious, they stop taking the risks that are necessary for growth. Some people are so afraid of failure that they refuse to try new things. They constantly ask themselves, what if this goes wrong? They imagine losing money, making mistakes, or being embarrassed. Because of these fears, they stay in their comfort zones. But life itself is risky. Starting a business is risky, investing money is risky, building relationships is risky. Even everyday decisions involve some level of uncertainty. The truth is that avoiding risk can be even more dangerous than taking it. When people refuse to try, they close the door to opportunities and experiences that could transform their lives. A meaningful life requires courage. It requires the willingness to step outside the comfort zone and explore new possibilities. Another dangerous attitude disease is pessimism. Pessimists always focus on what is wrong. They look for problems instead of opportunities. When something positive happens, they ignore it, but when something negative happens, they focus on it completely. For example, a pessimist might look out a window during a beautiful sunset but complain about the dust on the glass. Their thinking becomes a habit. They search for reasons why things cannot work instead of searching for ways to make things work. Optimists and pessimists often experience the same situations, but they see them differently. When looking at a glass filled halfway with water, a pessimist says the glass is half empty, while an optimist says the glass is half full. The situation is exactly the same. The only difference is the way they think about it. Our lives are influenced more by how we interpret events than by the events themselves. Finally, there is one more attitude disease that can quietly destroy the future: complaining. Complaining may seem harmless, but it can become a powerful habit. When people constantly complain about their problems, they focus all their energy on negativity. They blame circumstances, other people, or the system for their struggles. But while they are complaining, they are not working toward solutions. Every minute spent complaining is a minute that could have been used to improve something. Complaining drains energy and spreads negativity to others. It prevents progress and weakens motivation. Instead of complaining, successful people focus on solutions. They ask themselves, what can I do next, rather than why is everything so unfair? The mind is a powerful tool. It works like a factory. Every thought that enters the mind becomes an ingredient that shapes our future. If we fill our minds with fear, doubt, and negativity, our lives will reflect those ingredients. But if we fill our minds with hope, learning, and positive thinking, the results will be very different. That is why it is important to guard the door of the mind. We must be careful about what we allow into our thoughts. The books we read, the conversations we have, the information we consume every day all shape the way we think. If we constantly feed our minds with negativity, we cannot expect to build a positive life. Building a good life is not complicated, but it requires awareness and discipline. It begins with choosing the right attitudes. Choose effort instead of indifference. Choose action instead of indecision. Choose belief instead of self-doubt. Choose courage instead of fear. Choose hope instead of worry. Choose optimism instead of pessimism. And choose gratitude instead of complaining. When individuals begin to change their attitudes, their lives begin to change as well. They become stronger, more confident, and more capable of overcoming challenges. And when many individuals improve their attitudes, society itself becomes stronger. Communities become more hopeful, relationships become healthier, opportunities grow. The battle for success is not fought only in workplaces, schools, or businesses. It is fought inside the human mind. Every day, each of us must choose the attitudes that will guide our thoughts and actions. And those choices will shape the future we create.